Government today revised protocols for travelers to Barbados. That's our top story in your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Passengers arriving at the Grantley Adams International Airport with a negative COVID-19 PCR test from countries deemed high risk, including the United States, Brazil, Argentina, and India, will now be quarantined at an approved facility for 7 days and monitored daily for the onset of symptoms. At the end of the period, they will be required to undergo a second COVID-19 PCR test. On the other hand, travelers who don't have a validated negative test result will be tested at the Grantley Adams International Airport and must remain there until the results are known. If the result is negative, they will go into a 7-day quarantine before being retested. If positive, they will go immediately into isolation. Passengers arriving from countries deemed moderate risk, such as Canada, Jamaica, China, Australia, without a negative test result, have the option, along with those from low-risk countries, of being tested at the airport for free or choosing an approved satellite facility for a fee of $150. If the test is done at the airport, they will not be required to wait for their results. They will be allowed to proceed to their intended addresses, where they must remain in quarantine until the test results are returned. They will then be monitored for 7 days and may be requested to undergo a second test if circumstances arise during the monitoring period that warrant it. Hoteliers in Barbados are being urged to open up their doors because wealthy Britons are more than eager to travel to the Caribbean from as early as October. This was outlined by Paul Cleary, the owner and chief executive officer of Carib Tours, a British tour operator who told participants in the Caribbean Tourism Organization webinar this week he was worried that too many hotels in the region remain closed.
We've got airlines who want to come back into the Caribbean, but they're going on very reduced frequencies because so many of the hotels, the borders are open, but so many of the hotels are remaining closed. There's an awful lot of hotels remaining closed till October. Now that worries me a little bit. I understand why those hotels are delaying their reopening. I completely do understand it, but I think we're making some mistakes here. I know that this is traditionally a low season period, but other destinations are opening up and my clients are falling over themselves to get on airplanes to Greece. Funny enough, as I just mentioned, Greece is on our doorstep. People want to go on holiday. I would urge the hotels to bring forward their openings to as soon as they safely can, because I think there's more business for the rest of this summer and autumn than any of us probably would have expected.
According to Cleary, there's very strong demand for Caribbean travel in January 2021.
We have seen a steady flow, and I won't overstate it, but a steady flow and a steady growing flow week in, week out for the last 7 weeks. And that does give us hope. Now, there's a lot of things we all understand. We all understand the second spike. We all understand that all of this is very tenuous at the moment. But from where we are at the moment, we're not wildly excited, Johnson, but we take great heart from what we can see. Our customers, our clients, they want to get away. They want to get away, and for the Caribbean seems to represent a lot of what they want at the moment.
In other news, Central Bank Governor Cleviston Haynes says despite the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic, Barbados remains in a good position to withstand shocks as foreign reserves remain strong and the island's access to financial assistance from international agencies has increased.
Our international reserves passed $2.1 billion last week, an unprecedented level, up from just $440 million 2 years ago. This stock represents over 28 weeks of import reserve cover that will be further buttressed in the coming months through additional budgetary support from international lending agencies. We have transitioned from selling foreign exchange to banks at a time of high debt service to purchasing foreign exchange, even during a period of diminished earnings. It speaks both to increased confidence and to greater diversification of earnings than might have otherwise been thought.
An outpouring of love and support for Keishawn Thomas, the 11-year-old boy who has been at the center of a cyberbullying video. Today's a day he won't forget. He was not only showered with gifts, but words of encouragement. First, he received from communications specialist Joyanne Haig, who not only praised him, but revealed that her client Yankee Garments will supply him with school uniforms for a full year.
Let me commend you, young man. Excellent interview. Not everybody can do television, and you rolled it off like a star. So I wanted to be here today to first condemn the actions of the individual who would have done that to you, as well as the individuals who shared and thought it was a joke. And you need to understand something in life. Only people who are unhappy and upset with themselves do stuff like that. So realistically, they're doing you a favor, because all they have done now is to brought you to the public. Everybody is now praising you. Everybody now wants to support you. So all I can tell you is this is going to help you be stronger, and it's going to help build your character. And just looking at you, I can tell you God got big plans for you.
From there, he was feted at Bubba's Sports Bar in an effort spearheaded by Stephanie Chase. He first met the principal and PTA presidents of St. Leonard's Boys, his school of choice.
I want to invite his mom and him down to the school at some point, even if the results don't send him there. You're still part of our family.
Absolutely.
I want to invite you down. You can come down, have a tour at your convenience, and we'll be happy to engage Keishawn in this process.
This is just a small token of our appreciation for your wanting to be a part of our school. We want to let you know that you are valued and valid and important, and we wish you all the best and success.
Keishawn also met some of his favorite entertainers.
Basically to just encourage you, to let you know that all you have to do is keep it on. I can't wait. I give you the first. I give you number one fan. I can't wait when you do this on display. I pass for such and such a school.
Excellent, excellent.
I cannot wait. You know, don't ever worry about bullying. You have a big family here named Barbados.
I want you to take this and learn from it and grow with it. You understand? Don't let negative people dictate your life.
That's right.
You understand? Because no matter what happens, you get butt up on some people that would they can turn negativity at you all the time. In everything you do. Right? But you gotta stay strong. You gotta stay focused.
But the highlight of the day was meeting Prime Minister Mia Mottley and members of her cabinet.
Tell them what he just told you.
No matter what happens, it is how you get out.
Absolutely. And who told you that? Who told you that?
The Prime Minister of Barbados.
Absolutely. That's right. All right.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, in Tobago, bar owners and operators are pleading with the government to extend their operating hours. They say their businesses are suffering and many are on the verge of a shutdown. More in this report from Crystal Wilson of TTT News.
A group of affected businessmen gathered at the I Love Tobago sign in Scarborough on Thursday, protesting government's decision to reduce their operating hours in an effort to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. They said 4 months of downtime and no income during the COVID-19 emergency period hit their businesses hard. Now that they've been given the green light to resume business activity, they're complaining that the further reduction in business time doesn't allow for earning much money.
We want back the hours on them. You understand me? Because watch me, you open from 8 to work. 8 to 8, that can't work. That's when man coming out from the hole now. You understand? When they come out from 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8, what kind of hours they want to spend after work? They ain't cutting it for we now.
What the Tobago bar owners want is an extended business period and a fair chance for their businesses to thrive.
On the international scene, the World Health Organization says there were more than 100,000 cases of COVID-19 across Africa over the past week. As we hear in this Reuters television report, the healthcare system is struggling to cope with a rapid rise in infections.
According to the World Health Organization, there were 108,098 new cases across Africa for the week to July 14. and of those, 76% or more than 82,000 were reported in South Africa. That's pushed the continent's most industrialized economy into the top 10 worst affected countries globally, with more than 311,000 infections.
I feel bad because our country is going down now.
Health officials say in some parts of the country, COVID-19 wards are packed and patients spill into other departments or tents outside. At public hospitals, which were already strained, medics have complained about a lack of staff and protective equipment.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.